Let's go,
Ooh, too quiet.
No, quiet is overdue.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Make sure it's signed up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Mike Collins Finance Chairman, Ben Tarbutton, Missouri.
All right, thank you. You talk loud.
Told me how to do this, but I didn't do it right.
Yes, that's good.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Let's start again. Let's get like most of y'all in this room, about a year ago, I was reaching out to Mike Collins. I said, Congressman, you've got to run for the Senate seat. You are the guy who can beat Teflon John Ossoff, and it's time to get this thing going. And I can tell you, I was so excited when he called me last summer and said, Ben, we're gonna do it. We're gonna need your help. We're gonna need everybody's help, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna take the seat back, the seat that we should never have lost. And so I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be with this team. And the one thing I love about Mike Collins is he is the most genuine person you've ever met. He would do anything for anyone in this room. He would do anything for anyone in the state of Georgia and for this country. And that's the kind of person, that's the kind of leader that we need in Washington, D.C. We don't need somebody up there that's got to pull it to find out who his principles are. And Mike Collins is the guy. And so I'm here to introduce a man of faith, a man of family, the conservative workhorse in the state of Georgia, and your next Republican senator from the great state of Georgia, Mike Collins.
Appreciate y'all coming out tonight. I want to first of all thank my family, the elected officials that are here, the staff, convoy captains that are out there. Yes, everyone who has made this grassroots campaign a success. I also want to thank my colleague, Congressman Buddy Carter, for his efforts in running. And General McCullum out there, thank you for also getting involved in this race. You know, I started this campaign almost 10 months ago with a mission, and that was to deliver Georgia a workhorse. Someone who has been in tough fights and come out on the top, and someone that has always put the people of Georgia first in everything they've done. And y'all, tonight we are one step closer. Now every single day, week, and month of this campaign, we have had to prove the naysayers wrong. I mean, the folks out there have been saying that some congressman from right here in Butts County, this barely finished his first term, could organize statewide, could build the coalition, or could even take on the machine and win. Well, we've proven them wrong every step of the way. And listen to me now, when you hear people talk about how much money Jon Ossoff has, remind them of the results tonight, that the winning campaign did the most with the least. We were outspent 15-1, outmatched, but I tell you what, not outworked. That's right. I'll tell you why I'm successful. You see, I took that experience of being in one of the most regulated and taxed industries out there to Washington, D.C., and I was able to get 2 pieces of legislation signed into law by 2 presidents from 2 different parties in just 2 years. The Trank Act, it helps local law enforcement out there fight these deadly drugs that are killing our communities. And the Lakin Riley Act, which you know is named for a young nursing student that was murdered in my district by some illegal that Joe Biden and Jon Ossoff led into this country. And it just simply makes sure that these illegal, violent criminals are picked up and deported sooner. And y'all, that was the very first piece of legislation that President Trump signed when he returned to the White House. And in just 1 year, that Lakin Riley Act has been responsible for removing over 20,000 illegal criminals from our streets. And you see, those bills, they didn't just pass because I dropped them in the hopper, went and did a press conference and called it a day. I mean, you know, I knew I could get Lakin Riley passed with just party line votes. But I also knew that I needed leverage in the Senate, so I went and got Democrats. I went door to door and made sure that piece of legislation was passed in a bipartisan fashion. I mean, y'all, I had Democrats tell me that, hey, I've never seen a Republican in here pushing their own bill. But I had others, like Jon Ossoff, who just sat there quietly while I explained to him how this was going to help our constituents to make sure that another Georgia life wasn't lost at the hands of some illegal alien out there. You see, that's the difference, y'all. That's the difference in someone being in the private sector, in a do-or-die business where if you mess around and make the wrong decision, then you go out of business. That's just something you don't see in Washington, D.C. Listen, I am so proud that our campaign has been supported out there by Lakin Riley's family, by the National Border Patrol Council, Turning Point Action, which was founded by Charlie Kirk. Yeah, that's working. Yeah. CPAC, Club for Growth, Newt Gingrich, over 200 local and state officials, and many of them are here with us tonight. You see, they're with me because they know that I deliver results. I know how to win. If I say I'm going to do something, I get it done. It's just that I don't operate like a typical politician. Because you see, if passing bipartisan legislation that helps Georgians was so easy, everybody would be doing it. And the Senate would probably work a lot better as well. But y'all, how many times have you seen Republicans have control of the House, the Senate, and the White House and still struggle? And it's always because it's in the Senate that's the problem. You know, I'm just a businessman. So y'all, I look for the best deal that I can get out there. And if you're a conservative Republican and you want a conservative government, I'll tell you something, I got a deal for you. How about this? How about a 2-for-1? With me as a nominee, you're not just going to get to replace Jon Ossoff, but you're going to replace a Democrat with an actual conservative who will fight. And I mean fight. You see, our problem in Washington is that not that we don't have enough Republicans, it's just that we don't always have the right Republicans. That's right. But I'm going to tell you, any Republican is better than a Democrat. But just because you've got an R behind your name, it doesn't mean that you'll stand up and take the tough votes that put Americans first. I've not just promised to do that, but I have delivered on it. Hey, campaign Campaign slogans are cheap. Those slick advertisements, they're expensive. But the right voting record, now that's priceless. I will never apologize for being America first. As a matter of fact, I am unapologetically pro-God, pro-Trump, pro-Second Amendment, pro-strong military. By gosh, peace through strength works. If it's not good for Georgia and this country, I will never support it. We need to replace John Ossoff with someone who will put our state first, not California and New York. I mean, y'all know this. John Ossoff doesn't represent our state, our people, or our values. I mean, he's effectively California's 3rd U.S. Senator. In fact, John Ossoff is as Georgia as putting pistachios in a Pepsi. Look, President Trump brought us back from the brink of where we were under Joe Biden and the Democrats like John Ossoff. Y'all, we need to take advantage of every opportunity to deliver a safer, a more productive, a more affordable America. But right now the holdup's in the U.S. Senate, and John Ossoff is blocking progress every opportunity he gets. I mean, he shut down the government to try to give illegals health care. I mean, men and women's sports. I mean, he supported open borders that allowed killers like Jose Ibarra come in. I mean, he's even opposed to the Save America Act, which most Americans out there support. It's just common sense. But John Ossoff, nah, he's against it. See, Georgians want bipartisan productivity and common sense. And that comes from being a small businessman who knows how to solve problems. They just want someone to go to Washington and fight for them. Like nursing students in Athens. Like young families who just want to buy a home. Our veterans. Or our farmers out there who've had some of the toughest time in decades due to a broken Washington. Or y'all, just anyone who wants a smaller, more productive government. So yeah, I look forward to prosecuting the case against John Ossoff. His first term versus my first term. And here's what you're gonna see. Here's what you're gonna see on that stage in October when I'm up there. You're gonna see a successful small business owner who took the hard lessons he learned in the trucking industry, went to Washington, D.C., and delivered for the state of Georgia, versus a guy who's never had a real job in his life. Someone who is out there has voted with those California crazies and those New York nut jobs to make your lives less safe, more expensive, and less free. Listen, John Ossoff's going to need every penny he's got to defend his record. And by the way, just to let you know, the bulk of his money has come from California and New York, those far left activists out there. So if you want to beat a tough incumbent, you better put up the toughest fighter. And I am the only candidate out there, y'all, the only candidate who has built a grassroots fundraising program with donations from every county in this state, all 50 states and territories. I'm the only candidate who's organized all 159 counties with over 800 convoy captains out there. You see, you don't win this state anymore by running the most TV ads. Sorry, cameras in the back. You don't. It takes real grassroots efforts and operations. Y'all, either the other candidates didn't care enough to do it, or either they just didn't inspire volunteers enough to sign up. But either way, doesn't matter. That is just a recipe for disaster in November if you put up some milquetoast nominee like that. Listen, we're not here tonight because I've been propped up by somebody else. Or because I've spent the most money in this thing. No, we're here because we work hard, We've got the best organization, the best voting record, and the best message, and that's what it's going to take to be John Ossoff. Now, everybody knows that I do best with the MAGA base. It's because they know I've always been with President Trump. Even when it wasn't popular, I was still out there on the trail fighting. But what you may not know is that, y'all, I polled best against John Ossoff in a head-to-head matchup. And I performed best with suburban voters and women. And why is that? I mean, is it because I got the best hair in the race? Maybe. No, it's because voters are resonating with the fact that I hadn't spent a career in politics, y'all. I'm just a businessman who gets results, and when tragedy struck in Georgia, I was willing to put politics to the side and do what was right. And John Ossoff, he wouldn't do that. That's the voters that you got to persuade if you're going to be successful in November. That's why I'm the only candidate out there that is either tied or within the margin of error with John Ossoff in every general election poll. So, what's our path to victory? Simple. Same as what it was for Governor Kemp and President Trump. You turn out the low propensity voters, Trump voters, and you have a message for the Atlanta suburbs. Because you see, the suburban and independent voters, they just want results. They want somebody to go to Washington to deliver for them. And I have delivered. See, you don't beat John Ossoff with no record. You win by having a record of results. And thank you. You see, I've shown that you can go to Washington and put Georgians first. You don't have to listen to your donors in California and New York. John Ossoff, he can't say that. You can pass bipartisan legislation that makes the lives of Georgians safer and more secure and never sacrifice your values to do it. When I signed up for this, you know, I knew it was going to be tough. I knew it'd be tough to run against an incumbent U.S. senator. But y'all, what I didn't know is that I was going to have to face an incumbent governor in the primary first. But listen, looking at the result tonight, it shows that nominees are not picked on West Paces Ferry, and in November, we're going to show that Georgia's senators are not picked by California and New York donors. You know how they're picked? They're picked by Georgians who want and reward candidates who are authentic, who mean what they say, who do what they promise. And just like what I've done in Congress in a bipartisan way, and all the while I've still held true to those conservative values. The secret to my success, y'all, it's just that I learned the hard lessons from the real world. You know, when to compromise, you know, when not to budge, how to get the best deal out there so that I keep families fed and employees employed, just to stay in business. Because I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I swear, y'all, I felt like that the federal government's #1 job was to put me out of business. And that's the perspective that I took with me and with every vote that I take. That's exactly what you need more of in the U.S. Senate, and that's exactly what you'll get with me in the U.S. Senate. You want to defeat John Ossoff and also put a real conservative fighter in the Senate? Because, I mean, Lord knows, y'all, we need more backbone over there. Yeah. I need your help. I need your help. Listen, I'm Mike Collins. Help me get to the U.S. Senate, and I promise, this old trucker will deliver. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here.